Monday, July 18th. Last week, there was a large crew starting to make plans for the Mikasa outdoor area. They began to assemble the previously delivered steel pieces, started to look like an adult swing set. As the day went on, I asked one of the workers, and he said it would be a shade structure. They worked quickly, and by the end of that day, the structure had taken full shape. It looked like this from Chris Madigan's patio. Three workers began assembling all of these pieces, and soon you could tell it was a bench. Next time I looked out, there were 4 benches completed up against the Mikasa dining room wall. Next morning, it had rained in the night, and Oliver, the foreman, and Charlie, his helper, were trying to find a way to pump the excess water out by door 3. I hope Oliver has a good balance or a change of clothes in the office. Dave, the electrician, is digging trenches and moving electrical wires to be ready to pour a new pad for the generator close to the maintenance shed. On the south side, by the road, this landscaping crew is disengaging the old temporary irrigation pipes. When Dave was finished, they borrowed his machine and began making new trenches on top of the retaining wall for the new irrigation pipes to be installed. Heavy rain the night before always makes it harder for the cats to do their work, but they keep trying to prep the roadway for asphalt that is coming the following week. This caused residents much consternation. They thought the workers might have been drinking. Why else would you have put a sidewalk down through what's going to be an asphalt road? Beside the maintenance level, Little Cat is helping prep for a sidewalk which will be poured in concrete. This will help maintenance stage and load their vehicles next to the building. Always the compacting. Looking up the solarium, I can see that all floors have been taped and bedded. Walking up the south side, Don caught these crews making frames to have concrete sidewalks poured along the full length of the AL building. Wood frame has been removed from the bunko wall, and crew is smoothing and finishing the new sidewalk. For several days, all size cats have gotten into the filling and smoothing near Gate 8 and Door 8, so hopefully they'll be ready for asphalt in the days to come. Many loads of gravel are delivered, and Little Cat and Big Cat work diligently to spread it along the south roadway. Another day, by Gate 8, I noticed they had poured what looked like another sidewalk across the asphalt area. I wonder if the Little Cats ever get tired of all that back and forth. Charlie, Oliver's right-hand man, takes a moment to solve a problem in a narrow patch of shade. Weeks ago, walking up the south sidewalk, we found that the new saplings were taking things over, so we sent information to Joe Gomez and asked him what could be done. He said he would ask Dave's Landscaping to remove them, and the next day we were walking up the sidewalk again and they were gone. Thank you. We're sorry for the dogs who used to stop there, but residents are happy. Looking across at the IL building, I can see that the dark water downspouts have been installed on the south face. Colored stucco is progressing, but it hasn't reached the ground floor yet. The east solarium is still ugly yellow. They must have heard me talking and took offense, 'cause the next day color went all the way to the concrete. My guys are pretty fast and competitive. Temporary gypcrete station to fill the floors and cover the Acoustamats has been set up on the north side again. When you follow the big black hose, it runs up the side of the east solarium all the way to the top floor. These are the rooms they couldn't reach before. This day, the crew has started insulating the solarium. It's going to take a while, but we know what's coming next, the gray coat. High up on the scaffolding, one lone worker is finishing the application of waterproofing. I thought maybe the porta-potty truck would empty the slimy holding pond, but when I asked Oscar, he said his guys were going to have to do it. Lucky him. New concrete pad appeared across from the west parking lot. Joe Gomez says it's going to be for bicycle racks. It will be covered by a shell structure, which will protect the bikes from weather, rain, or shine. On the north side, between door 22 in the existing building and the double doors in the new building, they have poured a concrete pad to join the two entrances. New ramp leads down to the sidewalk. Another day, I found this guard snake hanging over the fence. Finally, the day for asphalt arrived, and they started filling in near that funny sidewalk. I learned it's called a valley trench to direct water flow. This roller machine is called a breakdown as it compacts the asphalt. That's a tiny space to have to roll, but he was very precise. This is called a lay-down machine. It drops asphalt and presses it flat. This is Sam. I liked his helmet, so struck up a conversation, and he explained the terms and the machines for asphalt. Sam talked while he worked, cleaning off asphalt and excess dirt so the next layer would have a better chance of clinging. Many trips back and forth with this breakdown machine before they come back and add another layer. Tiny critters get moisture where they can, but I'll bet it had a distinctly oily taste. Moving east, Little Cat aided in the asphalt laying with scoops into that single parking space that will be near the maintenance level. The big roller just keeps going back and forth. Be careful or you're going to get a hot layer of asphalt on your feet. Dump truck and laydown machine work in tandem as the asphalt goes farther and farther east. This worker is spraying a lubricant on the wheels of the breakdown machine so it won't stick to the asphalt. But nobody's driving. He has to multitask and do both. New machine has joined the back and forth. It has 4 rubber wheels. Sam says it pushes the air out of the asphalt. Sam drives the final roller machine to get rid of the 4-wheel tracks. As the day winds down, there is a long river of asphalt working east toward Gate 8. New parking spaces across from the atrium have also been paved today. It's after dinner and they're still working. Beautiful rainbow after a rain makes us think of all the good things to come.
Good morning from Independent Living. It's Wednesday, July 21st, 76 degrees, partly cloudy and humid. We had a big rainstorm last night, and you may want to watch for the lingering effects of that. The drainage for the most part seems to have worked okay, although there's lots of dust and sand around various places, and Block Monster almost drowned. For a change, there's more action here on the north side. There's more scaffolding going up, which they're getting from the south side, and more white insulation. When they first put up the white insulation, they seemed to blast through and then go back later and fix up all the pieces they missed. There's lots of junk and debris lying around on the ground. I hope they clean that up before people start moving in. It's a good thing the duckies are gone. It looks as though they would have gotten clobbered by that piece of scaffolding that's lying across their pond. It looks like they're mostly done with the insulation on this end. They don't seem to put it on the Solaria area. And on the southeast corner, watch the top left corner. They've put new support struts on the top left patio roof. Oh, did you see that? That was a flabbergabber bird. It's really good luck to have a flabbergabber bird in your new building. What a surprise, the hatch is open. And on this side, they're taking down the scaffolding, and the top levels, they're actually piled on the roof so they can take it over to the other side. It looks like some of the bosses are checking over things before they take the final stuff down. Block Monster's broom is still there, and the roof is nice and white, newly washed by the rainstorm. And finally, we get our long last look and check up on the not yet yellow patch. Yep, it's still there. Despite my promise, there's no baseball this week. This week, there is another spin topic in the news. According to NASA, wobble by the moon is going to cause more flooding here on Earth in the next 15 years. Since wobble is really related to spin, and we are experts on spin, we should be able to understand what's going on. When we spin a toy top, we know it spins about its axis and stays balanced on its tip. But the upper end of the axis also revolves in a circle about the spin axis. This is called precession, and the moon also does this. Its orbital plane revolves about the orbital plane of the Earth. It revolves once about every 18 years. This affects how well the moon aligns with the sun, and thus how strong the ocean tides are. When the sun and moon and earth align, the tides are very strong. The ocean rises more and there are floods. That's what's happening in the next 15 years. Why is it a problem now? Because this effect is added on top of the sea level rise caused by global warming and glacial melting. How big a problem is it? Well, the graph shows that during the next 15 years, This effect will add 2 inches in mean sea level rise to the 2 inches of rise caused by global warming. Since we live at an elevation of about 64,000 inches, we might think this won't affect us at all. However, in a place like New York City, landforms can amplify tides by a factor of 10 to 15. So 4 inches becomes 40 inches. And if high tide occurs at the same time as a storm or hurricane, Wall Street could be underwater. If we plan properly and develop our flood infrastructure, we can prevent this flooding. But New Mexico should see the wisdom of helping New York and others do this. Now, switching to another topic. Now that some time has passed, more information is available about that container ship, the Ever Given, which grounded in the Suez Canal. What is shown is a simulation of the last about half hour of time leading up to the grounding. As you can see, the simulation is speeded up considerably. There is a 50-mile-per-hour wind blowing from the south, and the high profile of the ship makes it act much like a sailboat without a keel. So the Egyptian canal pilot increased the speed of the ship to try to make the ship more responsive to the helm. This was a big mistake. The increased speed made the ship pile up a bigger bow wave and increased the squat, that is the settling of the ship into the water, and it increased the bank effect on the ship. There is an example of the bank effect. As you may recall, the bank effect caused by Bernoulli's principle causes the stern to be sucked in toward the bank, overriding control by the rudder. This occurred several times and led to several overcorrections by the pilot. Watch the stern of the ship carefully. Remember, the pilot is always trying to get the ship to the middle of the channel. Note that the wind is also exaggerating any drifts by the stern. There is an example of the bank effect. There is an example of the bank effect. It's very hard for these container ships to go across the sand. So this won't work unless the pilot can generate enough lift by Bernoulli's principle and fly. For us, we must fly to assisted living. Here at Assisted Living, the first thing we notice is lots of paved asphalt road. It's a very welcome sight. The irrigation trench on the wall has been covered up. Of course, we know that they'll dig it up again any day now. And another thing we notice is lots of trucks. I said trucks, not ducks, trucks. After the big rainstorm, the drainage seems to be pretty good as far as we can tell, although the valley trenches seem to be collectors of sand and grit. Those 2 big boxes in front of the lobby are gone. I think the block monster stole them. The lobby roof seems to be collecting lots of topsoil. I think they're going to plant weed in there. Dandelion weed, not that other weed. It's for the kitchen. So let's jump to the back side. The work going on here seems to be on the patio areas rather than on the building. And you can see that they're recontouring things outside the fence there. Hopefully soon we'll start seeing the beginnings of some retaining walls. Down here at the end, we can see that things are pretty much the same as they were last week, and as we look back, we can see a better look at the patio areas and where the work is going on. Finally, at the very end here, looking back east, at the very bottom you can see a newly poured concrete pad for the new generator.